What about my love? Wasn't it enough? Just let me know.
So the Panthers GM, he kind of commented on where they are as like the position of the Panthers as far as like their draft picks and things like that. So they want to kind of get into, exactly what he said. So he started out by saying we wanted to be in the position to get a quarterback. That's why they are trading up. Of course, in free agency, he's been doing a lot for that team, right? I mean, he's been getting, the picks that they've been needing to get, especially on that defensive side. They've been kind of beefing up there. Second thing he said, we have a conviction on multiple players at the top that we feel good about. You already know what he's talking about. They've already met with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. I believe they had dinner with Will Levis as well, which Will Levis had his pro day today. And the third thing he kind of said is, I'm not going to go into it, but we feel, it says goof, but we feel good about being in this position. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about this whole thing, but it kind of makes sense to me on why they would be in the running of getting rid of somebody like Matt Corral, right? So you've already got rid of like your whole seems like your whole quarterback group, starting with Matt Corral. Well, having him in the conversation, they didn't get rid of him yet, but during the whole free agency week, or like, what did they call it? The tampering period is what they call it. They have Matt Corral sitting there kind of in a limbo stage because they done got rid of, two guys out there, which would be not only Matt Corral, but PJ Walker and Sam Darnold. So, with that being said, they kind of put themselves kind of a rock in a hard place kind of situation. Do I necessarily agree with getting rid of your whole quarterback room, especially with some veterans there? Not necessarily. You can't really consider, in my opinion, Matt Corral a veteran because he got hurt in the preseason and was out for the whole season. So, I mean, in his defense, he's still trying to get things going himself. I mean, he's still trying to be a pro's pro. He's still trying, to get his feet under him because he hasn't really taken real life regular season NFL snaps as well. So, I mean, to put him on a pitchfork this high, this soon, not this high, but this soon in his young career, do I necessarily agree with it? It doesn't build confidence on the guy, but Matt Corral is the type of dude that's been through adversity here and there anyway. So, I don't know how you guys feel about it. What up, Shadow Gaming? He's in the chat. Franchise said Scott Federer is cooking. It looks like they're going CJ. Bryce should be the number one pick, but I think they'll go CJ. I don't know. I really don't know what direction that they're actually going to go in. I don't think Anthony Richardson's kind of in their sweepstakes right now, but to get back to the quarterback thing, I mean, PJ Walker goes to the Bears. They got Sam Darnold. They're sending him back to California where he came from so he can be under the 49ers. 49ers have a really interesting quarterback situation going on with them now, but they're giving their rookie QB weapons. Yep. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about just getting rid of Matt Corral right now. I mean, in his sake, I'm glad that he would get another chance to go somewhere else and prove himself. I mean, I've been telling the Vikings fans for a while now that, like, you go and get him. You guys have been screaming and complaining about a quarterback not that can win games. Well, you don't know if he can do that yet, so you're kind of reaching in the void with any young quarterback that you get. They've been screaming for Hendon Hooker, but Hendon Hooker's not going to be ready till probably he's 27 or 28 years old, and then by that time when we saw him at the Senior Bowl, he had that full leg brace on, so I think that injury is way worse than what he is considering. But with the quarterback at hand, the only short bet for me in this draft, as far as quarterbacks go, and I told you once and I say it again, is Bryce Young. I understand that people are really concerned about his size. I understand that they're concerned about that shoulder injury that he had suffered where he was out for about 1.5 games this year. But I mean, if you have to have a trade-off, do you want somebody that has a generational arm talent like he does, but you're not going to have the size? I mean, it's kind of like, I relate this to like when you're dating somebody for the first time. Is this person going to be exactly what you hoped and wished for? Probably not. I mean, usually things about them make them more attractive to you. So, but of course, I'm not comparing this to a real life relationship, but I'm just saying that sometimes there's trade-offs with stuff. I mean, Will Levis, for example, plays in a pro style offense. Is he really a pro style quarterback at the end of the day? Maybe not, maybe so, but on tape, when you watch him, he plays timid. He's overly confident, which gets him in trouble sometimes. I think his receivers and Chris Rodriguez bailed him out of a lot of situations where they could have looked really bad on offense, but, who knows? So this whole notion about Bryce not being a prototypical quarterback is crazy to me. Just because he doesn't have the height doesn't mean he doesn't have the factor about him. Yeah. Bryce is fundamentally sound. His mechanics footwork is outstanding. Bryce Young was one of those dudes that slapped me in the face this year. I ain't even going to front with you. He slapped me in the face. He let me know straight up that, that I could be humble when it comes to players that I over-evaluate. Not the fact that I didn't say that he was good. I just thought that he met his ceiling when he won the Heisman. And I thought CJ Stroud's ceiling was way higher than his. When it comes to find out that maybe Ryan Day has been sheltering the guy for a while. And I have an interesting point about CJ Stroud here later. But that's just one of the things that I noticed. DK38 says Brady coming back to Vegas and returning in 2023. No, he's not. Unless you couldn't show me a reliable source that says he's coming back. But he already said that he wasn't coming back, bro. So... wishful thinking. The game against Texas and Tennessee showed me who Bryce Young was. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's why he doesn't have to throw at the combine. That's why he waited to his pro day. Like, if you want to see it, I'm gonna be in my own environment. He's okay with being uncomfortable, and I think that's a really good trait. But back to the topic at hand here. I mean, I think Bryce Young is the right prospect for them if they were to go after somebody. But I think most likely they might go CJ Stroud because of the size. I don't think CJ Stroud's been challenged enough, to be honest with you. I think that he's taken the most straight and narrow path to success because of not only the conference that he plays in, but the way that they put weapons around him. I mean, he had the best wide receiving core in the country, the biggest O-line in the country. I mean, a lot of people will say one of the better coaches that likes to save his quarterbacks instead of putting them in situations where they challenge themselves. And I think Nick Saban's the total opposite. So I knew Bryce was a dog after his first 5 games year before last. Ooh. I mean, I knew he was a dog. I just didn't think he was going to be that good fishing. Also, the fact he played in the Sugar Bowl and it could have legit opted out to not play because of risk of injury shows me the dude's an amazing leader. So that's another argument there, too. Maybe that's a discussion for another day. Maybe we should put that on the table. But, you kind of got to weigh the pros and cons. Did it help him? Yeah, because they had a really bad season and they really came out of the gate showing that, that they could play and that they really like playing football. Not the fact that, I mean, you say the thing about same thing about Matt Corral. Matt Corral ended up getting hurt. What up, Coach? Coach over on Twitch. Appreciate you, bro. How he handles pressure is elite, mental and physical. Yeah, I mean, we said it one time and we'll say it again. We think Tua Tagovailoa, if he was to play in Alabama last year, he would have been injured, severely injured probably in the Texas game because Bryce was getting crunched. All of us are watching that with a fine-tooth comb, and if you didn't, after you saw the score was so close in the first half, you were doing yourself a disservice. The other point that I didn't want to make about, what Scott Federer said here. Oh, sorry. Wrong slide. We don't want to go that far yet. One thing that I didn't want to say is you know, not only with the quarterbacks that they have lost, they still have Matt Corral. But let's go to the quote one more time. You wanted to be in a position to get a quarterback. So that pretty much tells me, I remember a lot of people were thinking that they were going to get that very first pick and they were going to trade it out and get more value. And I think that was absolutely incorrect at this point from what he's saying. Maybe this is a 52 fake out. Maybe they have something else in mind, especially if, you know, their quarterback that they want doesn't, that they felt like he's not going to go in after the first pick. But we definitely don't know. I mean, last year, we definitely knew Trevor Lawrence was going. The year before that, 2 years before that, we knew that Joe Burrow was going. So, you know, like, there are some sure bets for a couple of different things, but, you know, you kind of got to give yourself a break every once in a while for thinking that, you know, you might know everything. So do we think this is a good move? I don't know. I mean, if you look at the history of Carolina quarterbacks, let's go through it. Since I've been alive, Steve Berline, Jake Delhomme, what's the kid from Notre Dame? Jimmy Clausen, Cam Newton. I guess you could say the two that've had the most success. Wasn't Kerry Collins there for a little bit? I mean, it's been anemic. Let's just put it like that. It's been anemic. So when Jake Delhomme and Cam Newton are your best franchise quarterbacks ever, I mean, the history of their quarterbacks is kind of crazy. I did see that Frank Reich is not a fan of short quarterbacks. Ew. Bryce Young could be shorter. Well, I guess not. Didn't he measure in at like 5'10", 5'11", or something like that?